Welcome to the heart of the Sterling Hills, where precision meets peril, and where today the JSR Championship takes one of its most unique challenges yet. This is round 4, and it's a double header at the Red Bull Ring. Two races, one is classic flow form, and the other completely reversed. For the first time in JSR history, we are raced backwards here in Austria, and 3 rounds in, and the championship picture is beginning to sharpen up. Milan Langer sits at the top of the standings with 50 points, having lit up the season with stunning wins in Bahrain and Austria. They're completely flawless in those two races, but after a DNF in Imola, the door is wide open, and Kevin Zumberg burst through it to take a commanding victory last time out and close the gap just to 7 points. Red Joke, the 7-time champion, continues to play the long game, third in the standings with 36 points, just ahead of Fireblaze, who's quietly racked up 33. AMS Risha rounds off the top 5 with 28, while Sasha Hood, Lewis Jones, Torpe and AMS Eric are all locked in for fierce midfield scrap, separated just by a handful of points. Here we go then, it is time for the reverse race here at the Austrian Grand Prix, and this is going to be very interesting because usually we see at the Austrian Grand Prix carnage and chaos is thrown around here as well, but in reverse it could deliver something special as well, and plus a reverse championship order which is going to light up the championship as well here in Austria. So let's see what happens at the Austrian Grand Prix then as we make our way towards the grid. Hello people in the comment section, hopefully you are all doing all right, and we'll see then what happens here. Nestled in Austria, of course, the Red Bull Ring is one of the shortest circuits on the calendar, just 10 corners, 4.3 kilometers. But don't let it fool you, because this place is all about rhythm, precision, and it punishes the smallest of mistakes as well. One small mistake and the lights about to go away then for the Austrian Grand Prix in reverse. And we are underway for the Austrian Grand Prix. The McLaren gets a line and start. Master Wheel Smith for the Mercedes. He drops down all the way to P4 as Kenji. As we head up towards turn 1 and turn 2. Here comes the champ right behind Ryan. As we head through turn 1, coming towards turn 2 now. It seems Ryan gets a very decent start off the line. Mummy Nick side by side. Kenji gets on the curb and he spins the car around. And he's in the grass. The Alpine in the background's gone off too. So major contact there between those guys. Got on the grass as Dennis and Milan swap places. Here comes the championship leader up the inside. On face Dennis as we head down in towards turn 6 we go, but the Ferrari still there on the outside, bit of contact as we head towards turn 4 we go. Uphill left-hander as the Ferrari's still on the inside, but he might take away the place because Milan went a bit deep in towards the braking zone and he gave the place up towards the Ferrari, but might fight this one back as we head on towards the third DRS zone, heading down in towards turn 3 we go. Is anybody getting caught up in his late braking skills? Milan goes off the circuit almost. The Aston Martin spun. Kevin Zumberg has gone for a spin. Did he get tapped? I wonder, I'm not quite sure, but Power Seam is right behind Ryan. So it's been a chaotic first lap already of this Austrian Grand Prix. 25 laps left to go for this race then. As we can see, Power Seam is tucked up right behind Ryan then as we head on towards the main straight, going up towards turn 10 and turn 9. They're all so close in contention of each other. DRS has been enabled, of course, but the first DRS detention point is coming towards turn 3 and turn 4. Somebody in the background, that is Muminick, who goes off the track there as well at the exit of turn 9, slipping through turn 8 and turn 7, now coming through turn 6. William goes deep there, so the Red Bull might have a chance on him on the inside, but bails out for the time being then as Ryan goes deep in towards the corner as Sasha Hood gets past Muminick as he puts himself into P5 ahead of the Kick Sauber. Here comes the Red Bull up the inside too of the Williams driver of Ryan, but Ryan gets a much better exit around the outside and he puts himself back up into P3. Now these guys got DRS on the back of each other as we head towards the heavy braking zone as well, the heaviest braking zone, as they all bunch up, they all continue up as well. Here comes the Red Bull Amisha on the back of Mummy Nick as we head downhill towards turn 3, turn 2 as well, and coming towards turn 1. DRS wide open, you can see the Kick Sauber in the background under massive pressure. Lovely camera shot as we head towards turn 1, the final corner, which is quite weird to say, as now we head on towards the main straight. So you can see the Williams driver under massive pressure from Power Seam. Right behind him it's a fast DRS train as well. 4.3 kilometers this track is, very short indeed, and the fastest time is about 63 seconds if you can absolutely nail the lap. But of course there is no qualifying, it is championship standings reversed. So the people at the back have a chance on the front, while the people at the back will have to suffer, unfortunately, the guys at the front of the championship who tend to do well. But now we head up towards turn 4, this left-hander, which can be a bit difficult as well. This braking point will absolutely nail it. It's very easy to go out wide here as well, lock up through that corner, as now we enter the second straight. The DRS is wide open once again. Torpe is dropping down. In fact, FaZe Dennis is dropping down as well as we head up towards the heavy braking zone. He's dropped into P17 as FaZe Dennis has gone for a spin. Unfortunately, AMS Eric on the hardcore power tyres has dropped away as Mummy Nick gets a 3-second time penalty already as well, as Dunn is left behind as well. Dunn under massive pressure from Matthias. Matisse goes up into P9 ahead of the RP driver. Then nice move for him. Very critical for him to get that move done, as now Palasim is side by side with Ryan. He's been trying to threaten Ryan for quite a few laps as we head up towards turn 1 we go, as he gets past him nice and neat there, but gets a bit sloppy on the exit as Ryan tries to fight back underneath him, but Palasim has the racing line and therefore stays ahead. This is great racing. Champ is on the mini compound tyres. Khatikas is up into P2 on the hard compound tyres then. His season hasn't been great so far, has had a bit of a struggle in the last few races, but he's up there in P2 on the hard compound tyres, sticking with the medium runner of Champ as well. This is a 35% race as well, so only 25 laps in this Grand Prix. As for the normal Austrian Grand Prix, there is 25 laps too. Here comes AMS Misha side by side with Mummy Nick as he puts himself up into P6 ahead of the Kickstarter once again. So Mummy Nick unfortunately is dropping backwards, and here comes Eric now, fancying a lunge up the inside in towards this difficult braking zone, in towards turn 3. We saw Kevin Zumberg outbrake himself and spin the car fortunately, and he has dropped all the way back towards 14th place as Champ and Khatikas swap places as we head down towards turn 1 there. Khatikas just gets ahead of the Sauber driver for the time being then. This is lovely to watch for all these drivers traded places as the Ferrari spun in the background. It's nice to see a reverse track in action as well. I believe Zandvoort as well is on the calendar, maybe for STN, I'm not quite sure. I do get confused between those two tracks there, but as you can see, Sasha Hood puts the pressure on Ryan as well. Here comes the Ferrari driver, so close as well, but I had to bail out that one. He does not want to make contact as well, especially in the early stages as well on the mini compound tyres. Milan Langer has got a 3-second time penalty already in this Grand Prix. It's only now 5, and that can have a huge dent in your race as we head up towards turn 4. We go alongside him, but outbreaks him, goes wide as we head out the corner. Sasha Hood did not get the exit he needed and therefore stays in 5th place. A bit of an audacious blunder on the outside there. Sasha Hood didn't have the downforce, unfortunately. He couldn't slow the car down. He double locks up going in towards the corner, but off the track goes Mummy Nick, and he's in the wall. He is in the wall, outbroke himself massively there, and unfortunately he has lost his wing. So here it's a 0 there, unfortunately for Mummy Nick. He was doing a very good job as the Sauber makes contact with the McLaren as they budge up in towards turn 10. But Champ saves the car. Now he's under huge pressure from Palasim right behind. Khatikas seems in good shape on those hardcore power tyres there, while the rest of the medium runners maybe started to struggle just a little bit there on their mini power tyres. We've got quite a few mediums, quite a few hards implemented in this race. If it was a 50% race, it would be a 2-stop strategy, but I'm not quite sure what the strategy is around here. Is it a 2-stop still? Is it a 1-stop strategy? How bad is the tyres? As you can see, here comes the Ferrari side by side with the Williams driver. Now he puts himself up into P4. Here comes Misha now, fancy a lunge up the inside of Ryan, but Ryan stays ahead for the time being. He started to lose his momentum as we head up towards turn 4. Misha fancies the lunge up the inside as they almost bang wheels there, but Ryan gets a better exit on the outside line, defending from the Red Bull. Here comes Palasim as Misha is on the grass there as we head in towards the heavy braking zone. The kick Sauber goes deep in the foreground. The Ferrari Sasha Hood goes through. We're still side by side between Misha and Ryan, and now we're 3 abreast between the Williams, Mercedes and Red Bull driver as Ryan's been shuffled backwards 2 places. And here comes Eric fancy lunge. Eric 2 places gained, but he almost lost it in towards turn number 10 there, but luckily saves the car. He did go out wide on the exit of the corner. So Mayer picked himself up a track reward in the background. That is a Williams versus an RB. Here comes Ryan. He's losing places left, right and centre. He's losing momentum. He's losing his pace a bit. It's while he's all over the road. It's Ryan can't seem to get himself into a rhythm, and that's why he's dropping backwards now into clutches of Matisse right behind his ball. And the RB spun the car, has he? Oh my goodness, he just saved the cars there. He slid massively. The tyres can overheat a lot as well. You can be very careful in terms of managing your tyres because too much input, too much force as well, especially in the high-speed corners, the rear tyres can overheat quite dramatically as well. So you've got to be very careful on the mini-compound tyres, but he's on the hard-compound tyres as well. As Eric's right behind Champ, now he's ahead of him. Eric, great drive by the way. Bit subtle in this Grand Prix. As look at that, Champ's had a weird lockup. A very, very weird lockup indeed. He's gone wide and he's lost 3 places in the process. He's fallen down into P7. Champ, sorry, unfortunately, just outbroke himself there. Double locked up and he's been forced down in towards 7th place. Matisse is right behind him too, ready to take him on. Gets a lovely launch out of turn 10. Now the DRS is wide open. Champ's not defending this. He's derated on the straight, so saving battery is Champ, as Parasim has closed up towards Khatikas, and now he's got a 3-second penalty. I'm not quite sure where he picked it up. Maybe later, maybe early in the Grand Prix, but I didn't notice. But he's putting Khatikas under so much pressure there. Khatikas is running a decent race there in McLaren because he's really struggled so far, being knocked out outside the top 10 in qualifying. But here he is, back in form as well. Is the McLaren driver doing a very good job. He's got the Red Bull right behind him on the same tyre. He goes deep in towards turn number 7, I believe it is, or turn 4, shall I say, not to confuse myself. But the DRS then is enabled as the Mercedes spun. Is that Kenji? It probably is Kenji, as Parasim is backed off there, not going for the move just yet. Just buying his time as well is the Red Bull driver, knowing there's another DRS zone as well at the exit of turn 3, heading towards turn 2 and turn 1 now. Here comes the Red Bull driver with the overtake, with the overspeed, with the DRS. He powers past the McLaren driver. Might go a bit deeper towards turn 1, and Khatikas might fancy a chance against the Red Bull. With the DRS back open on that McLaren, will he fancy a lunge back for the lead of the Grand Prix? He does. He puts himself back into first place there. Use the DRS, as here comes the Red Bull. Fancy move to the inside, and side by side in towards turn 2. You don't really see people go side by side in the normal layout, but you can in the reverse layout because there's plenty of space as well towards turn 1 and turn 2. As the Khatikas goes deep, Parasim rides the curbs there, picks up a bit of grass ball for good measure. In the background, we saw some people go side by side. I think that could have been the Red Bull driver of Misha and the RB of Batista in the background. This Austria Grand Prix is definitely giving us something to talk about, definitely giving us some fantastic racing, it must be said as well. I expected a lot of carnage and chaos, but these guys just managed it so far. We've had a few people who've spun so far as well. This reverse layout can be difficult as well because the tyres can overheat, etc. Challenges can catch you out, and also it's just a difficult track in general as well. As the DRS train has been broken up, Champ has got ahead of Milan Langer. He's fallen backwards. The gap is 1.2. Matisse is right behind Misha. So there's a little bit of group go. Oh, in the background, that's Williams and Ryan who goes straight into the wall there. And I'm not sure what happened to him. Just must have outbroke himself, unfortunately, and he has dropped down in towards 14th place. So not having a good time at all around this track. But hopefully, when it comes to the normal layouts, will fare better during the course of the Grand Prix and come back stronger. I do struggle on this layout, to be fair. It can be a bit difficult with these high-speed corners as well. Putting a lot of energy into the tyres, as Khatikas has a bit of a moment as well out of turn 7. As he might be struggling on the hardcore powered tyres. Sasha Hood's tyres are still in good shape and form because he's on all mini compound tyres and he's still holding his ground in P3, still in that DRS train against the hard runners. So I expect his tyres to start dropping off a little bit, but he's still doing a good job managing his tyres, keeping up the pace with the rest of the people in front of him. Milan Langer has overtaken Champ. He puts himself up into P7, a bit of a strange entry in towards turn 3, but nonetheless he made it work. Can he catch after Misha and Matthias? He picked up a 3-second penalty early doors in this Grand Prix, as we've got another spinner out there. It's Faye Dennis who's dropped backwards and spun, as here comes the kick Sauber who overtakes him. Kevin Zumberg is up to P11 ever since he spun, as in the pit lane. That's a very weird pit lane entry. That caught me off guard. I thought somebody was driving backwards to go in the pit lane. I mean, obviously, but I wasn't expecting it because obviously I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. It just caught me off guard for a second there. But Duke is in the pit lane. He puts on a set of hardcore power tyres, so 10 laps on those mediums. As Ryan has retired in the pit lane. Hopefully he doesn't leave the session because hopefully he knows there's another race on the cards. It looks like Misha and Matthias are catching up, except Misha, he's dropped backwards a little bit against Matthias, but Matthias is starting to catch the top 4, and Eric is putting pressure on Sasha Hood as well in the Ferrari because his tyres are starting to deteriorate, starting to lose their peak performance, which means the guys around him on the hardcore power tyres will have better grip and therefore power on them as well. So maybe he starts to feel the medium power tyres are starting to go away, and here comes Khatikas on the back of the Red Bull driver, but he's been wise about it. He knows there is another DRS zone around here. It's like turn 3 and turn 4. You just wait for that second dose of DRS or third dose of DRS to overtake your rivals as well, as we head up towards turn 10 and turn 9. In towards the double left-hander we go. As Sasha Hood has picked himself up a 3-second penalty. So I saw the driver looking very good there in P3. Unfortunately, has picked himself up a 3-second penalty, which is also going to put a dent in this race and also going to make things a little bit harder too to stay on the podium. Albeit though, people around him have got penalties, and plus, Misha is quite far back. He's 2.5 seconds. He's lost a whole bunch of time against the guys in the top 5, so maybe his mini compound tyres are destroyed and gone, and maybe a pit stop is necessary. The longer he keeps going, the longer he loses time as well. I think the best choice for him is to do an undercut, surely. Ryan's left the session, so hopefully he knows that there's another race going on. Maybe taking a break, maybe picking up a new setup in Time Trial, who knows? But I know for one thing for sure is that the mini compound tyres are starting to fade away from Misha under huge pressure from Milan Langer. Misha could have won the Australian Grand Prix, but unfortunately, he got taken out by Hertz, and Milan Langer is put himself into P6, in towards turn 1 we go, and here comes the Red Bull and McLaren, and Khatterkas puts himself back into first place. These two are traded DRS to be first and second majority of the time as well. Let's look at Power Steam as well. Through turn 2, just seems to have a lot of speed and a lot of confidence in the corner. Champ has picked himself up a 3-second tablet as well in the race. As we now sweep through. Oh, it's raining! It is raining on the circuit, so Kevin Zumberg is pitted, and I noticed as well when I did a social race, when it rained quite hard, and I think these guys might have to pit at the end of this lap. We'll see then, but it is rain on the circuit, hence why Sasha Hood has extended. He knew rain was coming, hence why Mishuk's extended as well, and Champ as well. So those guys have extended because they knew the rain was coming, and plus they didn't want to do a two-stop strategy. They want to go from dry to wet, not dry into, because that will ruin their race. Just like Russell did, Leclerc, other people as well, when they did an extra stop, pitted at the wrong time. But will they pit at the end of this lap? Let's have a look. No, they stay out there. For me, when the rain came, it hit hard on the circuit, and people like me pitted immediately. And luckily for us, we pitted on that lap. Otherwise, we would have lost a lot of time. And here comes Power Steam back on the lead of the Grand Prix. Surely their tyres must be fading away. In the background, Sasha Hood just goes deep there in the Ferrari at the exit of turn 1. But he's still keeping up with these guys, though. To be fair to him, he's very quick, considering he's on the mini compound tyres, and he's still keeping up with the guys as well. Maybe struggling just a bit. Look at that. A bit of oversteer at the exit of turn number 4-5 there. As we now exit turn 6, we go up towards turn 7. The Mercedes is pouncing. Here comes Eric on the inside. In towards turn 4. It is raining harder. A bit of contact made, but Eric on those hard compound tyres has massive wheel spin. He's still side by side with Sasha Hood, as both of them have DRS, but Eric gets ahead with more battery, of course, as he puts himself now into P3. What a great drive from the Dutchman of Eric, from 7th to 3rd as well. I believe he had a bad start too, because I believe he dropped more places than that due to a bad start. So he's made a fantastic recovery drive, overtaking people. So let's see then. Misha has pitted onto the Inter tyre. These guys are still extending. That is very interesting indeed. So they're still extending. They believe the track is not fully soaked in, ready for the Inters just yet. There's Milan Langer in the background. Of course, when you start last, off the track goes the Ferrari, and here comes the racing ball up the inside. Matisse puts himself into P4. By the way, welcome to Leroy. Of course, I haven't mentioned him just yet, but here he is in the Williams. Of course, give a warm welcome to the Dutchman and Leroy, who was in the comment section last week watching, and now he is racing, so hopefully he gets on well. Of course, he starts at the back of the field, so maybe a bit difficult for him. We all know track position is key around here, but of course, you have no choice by starting at the back of the field, so he had to take that pain, unfortunately for him. But when it comes to the race, hopefully he starts in a better position, because I haven't read the rules fully, which is quite bad on my side, because I thought that in this race it was championship reversed order, and the next race, people who finish where they are started in this order. So let me give it a quick read just in case I've missed anything. Venjo, the 7-time champion, is not here today because he's been on the podium twice this season, has Venjo as well. Let's not forget. Consistency has been very good so far, as the Ferrari's Faith Dennis has retired in the pit lane. And in the background, that's his teammate sliding to the corner in the Ferrari too. Was it his teammate? It was, Sasha Hood. I'm quite concerned for his tyres because they're 15 lap old. Their peak performance is gone. Surely Sasha Hood is close towards punchy territory range. If this was a normal circumstance, if this was a normal dry race, he would have pitted about 5 laps ago, maybe more than that. But because the rain pit, he's almost lost the car again, and Milan Langer is catching up like a rocket as well at a rate of knots. Unfortunately, Sasha Hood has chosen the wrong strategy. He has to extend, and if he doesn't, then going to lose a lot of time towards the top 4. But those tyres surely must be close towards puncture territory. You can see him sliding the exit of the corners, and Milan Langer is on the back of him as he pulls to the left-hand side, and Milan goes around the outside. But Sasha Hood is not giving up, and it's in a spin. He does a Sebastian Vettel type shit spin, and he spun the car fully around, and surely his tyres must have gone past their best. So Khatikas is back in the lead of the Grand Prix. As he goes deep in the corner though, here comes Parasim side by side as he takes away first place again. So he went a bit deep in the corner and Parasim just slid past him and said, "Thank you very much, mate, I'll take back first place. Don't mind if you do." But I wonder how long these guys are extending, because these guys are going a very long way in towards this Grand Prix, as Sasha Hood has finally pitted. He had to pit, I think. His tyres were way past their best, chewed up, destroyed, and close towards punch territory as well. I was surprised it took 15 laps as well. This is a 25% race as well, bearing in mind. A 35%, sorry, a 25 lap race. So I'm quite surprised it took those tyres a very long way as he rejoins in P9. Look at that. Considering that Misha has been on those tyres for 3 laps, he still can't do the undercut. That tells you that the track is still dry enough, as Parasim has overtaken Khatikas, other way around, sorry. Khatikas is back in the lead of the Grand Prix again, as these two continue to trade places, left, right and centre. Of course, these two have to stay in the Grand Prix. They have the bragging rights, they have the control. You want track position because it enables you to try and control the race as well. You have the prerogative of controlling the Grand Prix, where the guys behind are stuck in the DRS train. But this time, Parasim has the DRS. He does have a 3-second temperature though, so winning the race might be a bit of a struggle. But how long are these guys going to extend? Is he going to be enough for Inters? Is he going to stay like this for the rest of the race? As Fireblaze has pitted there in the Alpine. Haven't heard much from him recently in this Grand Prix, but unfortunately has had a terrible race for his standards, it must be said. But back to my point about Sasha Hood in P9. He's spun as well. He's fully spun around, and Misha still couldn't do the cut. The DRS is still enabled as well. So I wonder, people on the hardcore power tyres made the right choice. Here comes Misha up the inside in towards turn 10. Lovely move as he puts himself into P8. But it really does show you how important it is, as Eric gets a massive tank stop at the exit of turn 4 there, struggling with the tyres as we have the DRS open once again for Eric. The track is getting greasier and greasier, so these tyres are getting older and older, the track is getting greasier, the grip is getting less and less. These guys are going to be absolutely careful as well. 100% concentration is needed around this circuit, because one slight slip up could force you into an unforced spin, an error, and cost you the race as well. These guys are going to be absolutely careful on their tyres, because 70 lap old hards, they must be about 50-60%, if not more than that. As Milan Langer, Leroy has pitted too in the Williams there. I wonder how close these guys are to a puncher territory. They try to hang it out as much as they can. But are they going to go to mini compound tyres, or is it Inters? How bad is the Inter tyres still? Misha hasn't really made any inroads on first place, but surely these hard compound tyres are coming to an end of their stint as well. Look at that, massive slide for Eric again. Almost lost it out of turn 6 there. Just trying to save the car, keeping points in the right direction, trying to go as long as he can. He's almost outside the DRS range there. Look at these guys, absolutely struggling as well. So Misha, the gap is the same, 26.4. That's where it's been majority of the time. So not really gaining, not really losing time either at the guys ahead. But what are they going to do? Is it hard to medium? Is it hard to Inter? I am not sure. We're on the verge of it, of course. The track is getting greasier and greasier, of course, but it's just slowly but surely getting more retro out there. And into the pit, there comes Eric as well. So Eric has pitted. Maybe this is the time. Maybe he was close towards the punch territory there. Meets Matthias as well. It's in the pits. It's crazy how rain could change the whole phase of the Grand Prix, because it's all about time management. It's all about managing your tyres. It's the intermediate tyres, so no mediums there. With 5 laps left to go, this could get interesting, as Kevin Zumberg has got a 3-second time penalty in this race. Out comes Matthias as well for P4. And into the pit there comes Torpe in the Haas. Here we go, then here comes Milan Langer. Will he overtake Eric as we head out the pit lane? And nope, Milan Langer does not get ahead. So Eric is in P3. We're watching the top 2. This is Parasim and Khatikas extending once more. But will Eric, pitting 1 lap earlier, get the undercut on these two? Maybe it's still the hardcore power tyres in best shape. Who knows, actually. We're on the verge of a crossover point. It's just all about surviving. tries to keep it poised in the right direction. But when the social race happened for me, the rain came immediately. We had to pit immediately. There was no extending on the hard compound tyres. We dived to the pits as soon as the rain came. There was a glitch as well when the rain hit. And here we are then, Khatikas and Parasim are in the pit lane. Oh, Khatikas has hit the pit lane entry. I really hope the McLaren driver hasn't suffered any damage because he's driven a beautifully well-controlled race, considering the struggles in the last few races as well, as they both fit on the intermediate tyres. I think Eric will take the lead of the Grand Prix. He's gained a huge amount of time on first and second place. There is 5 laps left to go in this Grand Prix, and Eric is about to take away first as well. Here he is. Eric takes the lead of the Grand Prix for the first time. He's pitted at the right time, and now he's the leader. There is 4 laps left to go. He goes off the track in towards turn 1 and turn 2 there, so might have picked himself up a warning. Matisse, however, Milan Langer is up into P3. He's side by side with his teammate of Khatikas, but Khatikas just stays in front there for the time being. DRS has been disabled, so they pitted at the right time, those guys. Extending has worked for the people in the hardcore powered tyres, but people who pitted too early, like Kevin Zumberg, for example, he was the first one to pit. Kenji as well, Mum and Nick, Luke in P16, Champ, Misha, those guys pitted way too early. Here comes the RB drivers of Matisse, but his teammate's a lap down, so that is Luke, who is a lap down, unfortunately, there, in the way of the Red Bull driver of Power Seam. The top 2, however, haven't got a 3-second penalty, so they could be well in for a big podium chance. What's happened to the Red Bull driver there? He's just gone off the track as Mummy Nick gets a 3-second penalty. Eric, all he's got to do is keep it nice and clean. There is no need to take any risks or chances as well. And Milan Langer in P3 is on the podium. People around him have got 3-second penalties, and Misha's too far backwards as well. Power Seam has got a 6-second penalty. If Milan can stay in P3, what a result for him, for the championship leader. And he extends his championship advantage over Kevin Zumberg as well in a second place. Woman Nick and Duke are fighting over P14 and 15. They go side by side in towards turn 4 we go. And Duke just gets ahead of the kickstart for the time being. Woman Nick was up there in the top 5, but unfortunately dropped backwards as well. Real challenges trying to nail the breakers to every single point. The rain is difficult. The Austrian Grand Prix reverse is very difficult, especially these tricky corners. As I mentioned, that Fireblaze goes straight into the back of Torpe there, but luckily gets away with it. He doesn't spin him around as he stays pointing in the right direction. Fireblaze there arriving at such great speed is the RP driver. But back towards the front of the field then. It is Eric who still leads there with a mighty lead over Khatikas in P2 as Eric pitted 1 lap later, or earlier shall I say, and it has absolutely worked in his favour as he pitted at the right time when the track was getting wetter and wetter. But it was time for the inters. Khatikas stayed out as well, along with Power Seam. Those two pitted a bit too late and they rejoined in a bit of traffic, but Khatikas is pulling away from his teammate. Can he catch Eric with about 3 laps left to go? The gap is 2.1 seconds there. It's going down. It is going down slightly, although in turn 1 and turn 2 he's gained about 0.3 of a second, and he gains even more time as well. Khatikas and Eric could have a battle for the lead of the Grand Prix, so it's not over yet. Eric as well has got to make sure he doesn't lose any time by making a mistake, locking up, going out wide, losing traction. He's got to be absolutely nailed to perfection here within the last 3 laps. But Khatikas is closing in hot on his heels there. The gap is 1.6 seconds. So huge pressure for Eric. But luckily for him, there is no DRS there. So Khatikas can't blast through. He's got to do it on the circuit. And it is quite difficult to overtake in the rain as well, especially when you're on about the same age of tyres as well. Only 1 lap difference, which is not too much of a big difference, but slightly a little bit of a difference there between the tyre difference there. Can Khatikas catch Eric with about 2 laps left to go after this lap? Champ gets a 3-second penalty, but the gap has got up almost 2 seconds now between himself and the McLaren driver. And Milan Langer, what a drive for him so far. He was outside, way outside his battle. Matisse as well. Milan Langer started P13. He's up into P3 on the podium as well. And I don't think that the guys behind have the pace to try and match him, because Matisse is struggling. Power Seam is right behind him as well, and so is Sasha Hood, who was on the old mini compound tyres, tried to make it work for him, and he had to pit that lap, otherwise a puncture would have ruined and ended his race prematurely as well, after being in such a good position as the Matisse goes off the track there Very close to going in the gravel, but luckily escapes from it as Hatikas has brought the gap to 1.5, 1.6. He keeps fluctuating, changing at all times, but he's not gaining enough to try and catch Eric, who is the leader of the Grand Prix. Look at that, this power seam has much better traction, much better grip than the Racing Bull driver. About to pounce him every given moment now against the Racing Bull as we head down in towards turn 3. The Ferrari driver, Sasha Hood, is also in the background too, waiting to pounce at any given moment. Any small mistake, they will go through. As we see Leroy putting pressure on Misha in front of us as well. So Leroy gains 7 places. A great try for him, the Dutchman, on his debut, heading in towards turn 1 we go. Can the RB keep these two at bay? It looks like the podium is going towards Milan's way, despite having a 3-second penalty. The guys behind have 3-second penalties, but Misha doesn't. He's too far backwards, so he can't have an impact or say in the race. He unfortunately starts on the mini compound tyres, but the people who played the strategy right, great strategy, great time management as well, pitted at the right time, absolute clinical and methodical in terms of when to pit. And they certainly delivered as well with their pace. And look where he's got them. The reward is first and second for Hatikas and Eric. Milan Langer pitted as well quite early on, and he's still in P3 with his fantastic pace as well, the championship leader. After a dismal race back in Imola, he comes back strong here in Austria at the reverse GP. He's pulled away from Matisse and Parasim and Sasha Hood as Hatikas gets a 3-second time penalty, but that won't matter because the guys behind won't capitalise, and he can't catch Eric either. Okay, yellow flag, so that must be an RB as well. But here we go, Eric's at the final corner. Here comes Eric downhill towards the checkered flag. It is Eric who wins the Austrian Grand Prix. What a fantastic drive from the Dutchman as Hatikas finishes in P2, as Milan Langer makes it a double McLaren podium. Matisse is in P4 ahead of Parasim. Sasha Hood has actually they dropped down due to penalties they have as well. As Misha goes to P5, Leroy's P6 ahead of Parasim. Sasha Hood P8 ahead of Champ. Kevin Zumberg in 10th after his early spin in the Grand Prix. Torpe will finish in P11, 10 as Fireblaze goes 11th ahead of Kevin who dropped down. Kenji P13, Dookie 14th, Woman Nick and Luke as well in 16th place. What a race for the Austrian Grand Prix, but we've got more to come after the next race. Congratulations to Eric as he lifts up the trophy the first time this season in first place. What a drive. He's very strong in wet conditions as well, because we saw at the Australian Grand Prix how he managed to go from the back to the front and finish in P3. Fantastic drive. In fact, that was SDN. Sorry, I do get confused between SDN and JSR. My bad. Of course, I try not to do it even more. But Bahrain, he struggled. He finished in P9, had no pace there. He finished in P4 in Imola as well. But here he finishes first place from start to 7th as well. Fantastic strategy, great talent management. The right call to come in as well by pitting 1 lap earlier than his rivals. And that 1 lap was pivotal for his race. The 2 McLarens, however, great drive from them, especially Hatikas, who has struggled in this race. In fact, in this season, should I say, since Australia. Milan Langer 3rd ahead of Matisse, Misha P5, Leroy P6, Parasim 7th ahead of Sasha Hood, Champ Torpe, Fireblaze, Kevin Zumberg, Duke, Kenji, and I think 15th and 16th goes to Mum and Nick and Luke. But I will take a short break. I'll be back with you shortly. I'll see you all in a few moments' time. Alright guys, we are back for the race here in Austria for the second race. Now the first one was reversed and this one will be a normal. Sorry about that, that was my own voice coming through my YouTube channel as I forgot to turn it down. But hopefully it'll be a great experience once again and we'll see some phenomenal action as well. I think the reverse one is more difficult than the actual one as well. In my personal opinion, I do struggle because the tyres overheat. I do go out wide in towards turn 6 and turn 7. So, and Mark F1 is joined as well. So, who's keeping an eye out for in this race? Very good question indeed, because we've got loads of contenders who could take the win here tonight. If Kevin Zumberg could try and get his act up in this race, he could definitely win the Grand Prix. He did have a race around here in Austria in PSGL, so I expect more for him. I expect him to have a bit of a revenge and redemption here as well after having a bit of misfortunes yesterday too. But we'll see then how all the plans are, and it is raining for the Austrian Grand Prix, so the rain has followed on here from the reverse race to the actual race. It has followed us as well, so hopefully we'll have a good race too. In the wet conditions, it can be very difficult to overtake. There's no DRS, of course. The dirty air is more effective. So we'll see how it all unfolds in this Grand Prix. It should be another 25 lap race around here in Austria. But will it dry up towards the end? Will it stay raining for the whole race? It took a long while, didn't it, for the rain to settle in. But when it settled in, it was on the intermediate compound tyres. And that's when the guys behind were drifted apart as well, because some people did struggle in the wet conditions. But we'll see what happens here tonight for this race. Milan Langer has been at the top of the timing sheets, or top of the standings in the last few races, but he did DNF back in Imola, but he come back stronger. He did come back strong last time in Austria a few months ago. It was Kevin Zumberg who won the Imola Grand Prix, had a fair joke, and Sasha Hood got a podium too to finish in P3. No formation lap once again. We're about to get racing immediately. And we are underway for the Austrian Grand Prix. Seems like second place of Gas gets a decent start. He overtakes Mercedes of Eric immediately. As we head down in towards turn 1, the Red Bull and the RB go side by side in towards 1 we go. As the Red Bull wins in that battle, as we climb out of turn 1, head up towards turn 2 and turn 3. Both McLarens right behind in the slipstream of the Mercedes driver as we head in towards the braking zone. In towards turn 3, 2 cars off the circuit. There's contacts in the background there. As we head in towards the braking zone, more contacts between the McLaren and the Mercedes. As we head out of turn 3, Matisse has overtaken Leroy as he gets past it for P5 ahead of the Williams driver. So he was overtaking trying to overtake Misha, but defended from the Williams. As we head down in towards turn 4 we go. Seems like a clean start, but some people behind us. That was the Alpine and the Racing Bull going off the track. As we see the Kick Sauber and Faison to go side by side out of turn 4 we go. Mummy Nick goes all the way on the outside to have the inside line in towards turn 6 we go. As the Mercedes in the foreground, it's Kenji who goes wide there, but nobody is capitalising from him. And here comes the Aston Martin driver who looks poised to overtake the Kick Sauber, but gets out of shape as Williams, as Kevin Zumberg is up into 50th place and ahead of FaZe Dennis. First lap is completed and your leader is Eric by 0.5 of a second. Remember, in the wet period in the last race, Gas seemed a bit quicker than Eric, but we'll see what happens then in towards turn we go. As there's no DRS, of course, the sister drivers as the Red Bull goes off the track. That's Misha who has a bit of an excursion off the track there, as Power Seamer's teammate is right behind Leroy then as we head towards turn 2 and turn 3, the heaviest braking zone on this track. It's very important to get the power down as well at the exit, because you can have massive wheel spin if you put the power down too early, unable to break traction. That's what's happening further down below. We can see a few people changing position. Mark is up into P12 there. The DRS is enabled still, so DRS is still activated there, which is interesting because it was disabled in the other race, in the reverse race. Here comes Kevin down the inside in towards turn 4. So these guys have DRS. The track is not fully soaked in just yet, as these guys bang wheels as well. That is Duke versus Kevin Zumberg. Kevin Zumberg on the gravel there, like it was with Charles Leclerc as Sergio Perez. They still go side by side there. Kevin's got no room. He goes off into the gravel. So does the Duke as well, as he rejoins in the path of the Williams there, as Kevin spun around. So bad luck once again, hovering around Kevin's shoulders as the Williams goes down the inside. Aggressive move goes off the track. Does Duke a bit tenacious there as well, as Duke gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, as Milan Langer sets the quickest lap time of the race. He's got inside P3, following his McLaren teammate, as Gas does have the DRS on the back of Eric. So here we go, uphill towards turn 2 and turn 3. Gas levels Mercedes because it was DRS at the exit of turn 3, but the Mercedes trying to hang around the outside, gets better grip maybe than the McLaren driver. Massive wheel spin But I think Hazikas gets the DRS, he does, and he powers his way down in towards turn 4. Eric did not get the DRS because Hazikas was very clever. So basically, he levelled him going in towards turn 3. He just got the brakes a bit earlier, so he could have the DRS and overtake him in the braking zone and get ahead of him. That was very clever and very tactical there from Hazikas. Exactly what you want to do against your rival as well. Playing DRS games at high speed as well. You want to be using your head whilst going very quickly around the circuit as well. Tactics as well deployed absolutely everywhere as Leroy is struggling to stay within the 1 security DRS. DRS is allowed in the wet conditions. We saw it in Silverstone. I think we saw it in Turkey as well a few years ago. So it is allowed if the conditions aren't too treacherous, as Mark has pitted. So let's see what's happened to him. Is it front wing damage for him as he almost sped in the pit lane? Very close to indeed. The track does seem to get a bit greasier at times as he's in the pit lane. That is the hard compound tyres, which is very interesting then. So he's pitted onto hards. Watch out for him. Is it too early? It does look too early to me. If this was real life, definitely too early. But the game can be misleading and deceiving. You never know what's right and what's wrong. But watch out for Mark. He's pulled the trigger quite early. As we head down towards turn 4, this is the Mercedes of Eric in a McLaren sandwich there against Hazikas and Milan and Langer too. It's nice to see that Hazikas has found his form. What's the gap to lead? I'm going to gap to leader, guys, because I want to see the gap between Mark and Hazikas. Has he made the right choice? Is it too early still? I don't know, because the gap's not going up or down too much, although he's just gained about 4 or 5 tenths as the guys on the Inter. So it was 27.2. Now it's 27.8, so I think he might have compromised himself a little bit there by pulling the trigger a bit too early and losing time towards the guys in the Inters. So 1 lap too early there for the Ferrari driver. So we keep an eye on Mark in P18 there, as we see more people pitted. I think that is FaZe Dennis gets a tap from the guy behind of Luke, as Kevin Zumberg has pitted for 3 second taps in this Grand Prix as well for good measure. As Luke hits the back of the Williams there, but back on board with Eric as he overtakes Hazikas for the lead of the Grand Prix. As we saw every single time in league racing, the top 2 have a say in the Grand Prix. They have the bragging rights as well, because they can control the Grand Prix and they constantly trade places as well to maintain the lead as well. As we see the guys behind in the DRS trade just stuck there, but Matisse has dropped back quite significantly as well. Parasim is about to overtake him, but he's still too far back to make a move on the back of the racing bull. So I think that Mark has pitted a bit too early. The gap was 28 seconds, now it is 20.6. So he's losing so much time there, this Mark. He's just pitted a bit too early in hindsight, it's a wonderful thing. And he's definitely pitched a bit too early as well. So that's not good there for the Ferrari driver. A bit of a blunder of a strategy. He made up some good ground at the start of the Grand Prix. Then dropped backwards, but his teammate, however, is pitting quite interestingly. So this is another Ferrari strategy blunder, because evidently Mark is not really gaining on the guys ahead. As you can see, Sasha Hood is flirting there with the grass on the inside. More people are pitting as well. So let's have a look to see what happened there. Hazikas must have made a mistake out of turn 1. He just almost lost the DRS against Eric, but with the DRS enabled, Eric has left the section. Oh no, what a shame for AMS. Eric Champ has left the session as well. So 2 people are out of this Grand Prix. Hopefully it's not me. In fact, I hope it's not anybody, but unfortunately for Eric, he's gone. What a shame. It's just so annoying and frustrating when the internet goes. What a shame there for Eric. He must be absolutely livid with that one, of course. Looking for a redemption drive after having difficult races in the past few races, struggling to get inside the top 10, has the Dutchman in the Mercedes. Did finish P4 back in the Imola Grand Prix, one of his best results this season. But other than that, it seems to be a difficult start to the season for the Dutchman of Eric. Now it's McLaren 1-2, and for the first time this season, Milan Langer and Hazikas are together on the circuit. Now I'm interested to see how these two go as well in this race. Hazikas, of course, me and Milan have given Hazikas big praise, because obviously he's a very quick driver indeed. Can get unlucky at sometimes. As here we go, the DRS wide open. He's putting big pressure on his teammates. The championship leader looking to score more points against his rivals as we head down in towards turn 2. Matisse is ahead of Parasim. He's also the DRS range of 3rd place, unable to get himself back in there, but hopefully Eric joins very quickly. Let me try it this way. Sorry about this. My EA is Jamie Morris 02, I think. So send me an invite very quickly, and I'll invite you very quickly, Eric. Get back in the session immediately. You're still in third place. A Ferrari spun. That's on the hardcore powered tyres. So the hardcore powered tyres is not the way to go. Doing a Charles Leclerc type shit by going on the hardcore powered tyres and spinning around, just like in Silverstone as well. As Mark, his teammate, has done the exact same thing. He's beached. He is beached. And he can't get out of the gravel. There he is. Resets track. You are allowed to reset track if you can't get out there. JAMIEMORRIS02. As Milan Langer puts pressure on his teammate once again for the lead of the Grand Prix. Face Dennis picks himself up a 3-second time penalty as Power Seam is right at the back of Eric. There you go. Sorry about this, guys. I don't mean to do this, but obviously things happen. Where are you, Eric? I can't find you, mate. What was your PS? What was your name again? I really do apologize about this, guys. I don't mean to do this, but I want to get him back in the session as quickly as I can. I don't know where you are. I'm very sorry. AMS Eric. You should be pinned at the top if your name's AMS Eric. Once again, my apologies. I want to go off the menu and see what's happening between the top two. So Milan's on the back of Khatikas. These guys haven't pitted just yet, so they're staying out for a few more laps on the intermediates, but it seems to be the best strategy. Let me just go and find you once again, mate. There you is that? No, that's not you. That's Matisse. That's Khatikas. There you are. Got you. So that's been sorted then. So the top two are pulling away. Exact same thing as the Austrian Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri versus Lando Norris, but it's the two Dutchmen of Khatikas and Milan Langer. Khatikas has suffered a bit of misfortunes in the last few races, so if you're looking to bounce back, the Bahrain Grand Prix finished 8th place. Back at the Imola Grand Prix as well. Didn't particularly have a great race, did Khatikas. He seems to be struggling just a bit, but he's back up there as well. Here's the McLaren driver. I think he missed the Imola Grand Prix, did the McLaren driver Khatikas as well. So yeah, not had a great run, finished in P16 as well. In fact, I'm reading the wrong results, but here we go. In towards turn 3, Milan Langer takes the lead of the Grand Prix, but Khatikas broke earlier to get the DRS, but he's struggling for traction at the exit of turn 3. Now the DRS is able, he's still struggling for traction in 6th gear as well. So really sliding out those corners is Khatikas there. Almost goes into the back of his teammates. So hopefully it is the clean papaya rules and they keep it nice and clean and tidy. Remember, Milan Langer is the championship leader. I'm very intrigued to see how these two get along as well, because I'm not quite sure how close they are in terms of being friends. I know Khatikas speaks to us both because we're both commentators for different leagues, so he does talk about how good we do sometimes, but it's on the track, it's personal. The friendship's out the window. Mark has retired from the session. I know how it feels like sometimes to be a commentator and race as well in a different league and race there with people I've commentated against. It's sometimes a horrible feeling because everybody likes you, everybody respects you as a commentator / racer, but when you're on the track, if you make a mistake, then a lot of people have something bad to talk about as well. As Milan Langer is under pressure once again from Goat Cheese. He pulls the right side as he retakes the lead of the Grand Prix then. I wonder as well, if it gets dry towards the end of the Grand Prix, which one of these two will be in first place? Because let's say if Khatikas is in first, then I think he might get the preferred strategy and choice, like it was with Oscar Piastri when he had that 10-second penalty at the British GP. But obviously, it didn't work out for him because he had a 10-second penalty with that rule. We haven't even talked about the British GP yet, as Lucas spun out. Oh, here comes the two McLarens, gets past him. So it's the two McLarens and it's the Red Bull driver Power Team in P3 with a 3-second penalty already in the Grand Prix. I really hope these two battle all race long because it's going to be so intriguing. Milan is going for 3 out of 4 wins. Hatikas is going for his best result of the season. His best result was P4 in the last few races. But let's see what he could do against the champion. Well, against the champion of Milan, who's won. I think he's won the championship before as well. Previous seasons, was it season 1 or 2? I can't exactly remember. The two Kicksabers, Mummy Nick and Champ, P7 and PA. Much better race for Mummy Nick this time, but he does have a 3-second penalty. Power Seam, however, is starting to close in a bit on these two. So are these two, as they go side by side in towards turn 3, Milan has the inside line, takes the lead back, but Hatikas with the better traction and a switch back, goes wheel to wheel, but has massive wheel spin. Didn't get the exit he needed, but he still has the DRS. As we head down towards turn 4, Milan stays in the lead of the Grand Prix. This is going to get intense between these two. Of course, Milan wants to build up a lead in the championship because Kevin Zumberg is only 7 points behind Milan Langer in the championship. Kevin's down in P9. So won't gain as many points, but Milan wants to extend his championship as much as he can, whilst the Aston Martin gets past one of the Saubers. The next one is champ in front of us. Eric has rejoined the session in P6, so I really hope the Mercedes has good pace still, although he did start out at turn 8, so a little bit of a mishap there at the exit of turn 8. Just a bit of a wobble on, but he's still in the DRS train, is the Mercedes driver. We head on to lap 13 out of 25. It is still Milan Langer who leads this Grand Prix ahead of Hatikas, who started the season very poorly indeed, but started to make inroads, started to show some fantastic pace as well. He did turn up at the Imola Grand Prix. He retired at the Australian Grand Prix very early doors as well. Same with Eric. He retired in Australia too. And Hatikas finished in P8 in the first race of the season at Bahrain. This is a battle for P3. That behind Power Seam, he has a 3-second penalty. So 4th, 5th, and 6th. Knows there's a chance of the. Oh, Eric down the inside there in towards turn 4. It's a late move, an audacious move, but I think the Williams driver saw him coming, left enough space, and now they're about to go wheel to wheel in towards 6. Can Eric go all the way around the outside? No, he can't. No grip there for the Mercedes driver, just understeers and doesn't have any grip to make that move. So communicating with online services is never a good thing to see, but Kevin is ahead of the Kicksabber champ. He's up into P7 now as Kevin after his misfortunes in the first race. Bayes Davis has pitted and retired from this race. Kenji's in the pit lane too on the mini-car powered tyres. So these guys are still running the inters, and Kenji is on the mini-car powered tyres despite it still raining. The DRS is still enabled as Hatikas has a massive power slide going in towards turn 1. Might have lost a few tenths there, those few crucial tenths. As we head down in towards turn 3 we go. Another opportunity to overtake. Of course, turn 3's caused a lot of controversy between drivers like Hakkinen and Coulthard back in 1998 when they collided in towards turn 3. Rosberg versus Hamilton in towards turn 3 in 2016. Verstappen versus Leclerc in 2019 as well. And also both Ferraris in 2020 when Leclerc and Vettel hit each other and both retired from the race. It was a double DNF for Ferrari in that race. As Duke has retired in the pit lane, he is out of the Grand Prix unfortunately. So the people on the hardcore power tyres, the people on the slick tyres, it hasn't paid dividends for them at all. Oh, the Racing Bull slides out of turn 7 there. He's lost the DRS there towards Power Seam. So Power Seam may be able to breathe a little bit, but you can see the RB deploying his battery. Who's that in the background? So that is a ghosted car. That's the Mercedes of Kenji. And Hatikas has pitted. He has pitted. It's another set of inters, so it's inter this race. It looks like he's going to race for the whole race, it seems. And here he is then. Where will he rejoin is the question. As we see Leroy rise to the back of Matisse. Here we go then, up towards turn 3. Leroy's going side by side with the RB as we head in towards the braking zone. Leroy has the inside line. Can he make it stick? A bit of contact and he gets forced off the road there. Matisse does. The connected wheels and through goes Eric. He's up into P4. This time, can he take third place away from Leroy as we head down in towards turn 4? We go, lays the brakes, is Mercedes driver, a bit of contact there. He goes through. Will he outbrake himself? He doesn't. And he moves back up into P3. I think Milan Langer on this lap will respond. Hatikas' tyres are much fresher. Crucially, very importantly for his race, he has got ahead of the traffic there as well. ahead of Misha, ahead of Sasha Hood as well, and Torpe. It seems this race is going into Inter, and the people in the slick tyres have, unfortunately, been allowed to dry, ironically as well. Here's Milan in the pit lane. Oh, Milan Langer gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not the first time he's done that this season. He did it back at the Imola Grand Prix. It's such a silly thing to do, really. It is such a costly mistake. You can't afford to make these mistakes anymore. In fact, a 5-second penalty was detrimental in the first place, but a 10-second penalty is costly. Very costly, as Milan Langer finds himself in the middle of a Kick-Sauber sandwich. His favourite team is Kick-Sauber. Valtteri Bottas, of course, won this Grand Prix in 2017. That was in a Mercedes. Milan Langer is right behind the Kick-Sauber of Champ with the better exit. He goes up into P3. Do you know what? Despite staying out there one lap later, Khatikas hasn't managed to undercut his teammate, which is quite surprising. And off in the foreground goes the Mercedes. Cage is retired on the track. He's out of the race, and I don't think a safety car will be deployed. Mercedes is out of the race, same way that Valtteri Bottas went in 2018, because both Mercedes had gearbox issues, didn't they? They both retired from that race after Bottas started a pole. No, he didn't actually. Did Bottas start a pole? I can't exactly remember. Maybe he did, but unfortunately, he didn't win the race. Khatikas is ahead of Nick, very interesting as well. Crucially, for his race, he can't afford to let Milan go down the road and scamper off in the distance. It's very important that Khatikas clears this traffic. He knows Milan has got a 10-second penalty. This is a big chance for Khatikas to get his first win of the season. Goes deeper towards turn 1, but it's all about making sure he overtakes him cleanly. There's no need to mess around with him. No need for any theatrics against him. And he puts himself now up into P3. Milan is behind Kevin Zumberg. He's championship leader, but the difference is they're both on completely different strategies. So Kevin Zumberg will be completely defenceless down the straight. No defence will be offered against the McLaren driver. As we head in towards turn 4, they're side by side, but expect Milan to get a much better exit with better inters. He should do. But with Kevin Zumberg, he's not giving up just yet. Milan's still there on the outside. As we head towards turn 6, it's so close, millimetres apart. But Milan surely has the edge, and he puts himself into P1. What's the situation now? In fact, we've got something new. Eric is on the mini compound tyres. It's stopped raining. So the rain has stopped. Maybe Eric could be the best chance, because Khatikas and Milan have got to pit again. Has both McLarens been disadvantaged now again? The pendulum has possibly swung towards Eric's way. What a twist, what a turner. Khatikas goes on to set the fast up of the Grand Prix. The track is drying out. Look at Leroy at 9.5. The track is surely getting towards its best as well. Wow, what another twist in this race. Unexpected twist. I thought it rained for the whole race, but Milan, both McLarens have got the strategy wrong, unfortunately for them. The track will continue to get drier and drier. Here comes Eric down the inside, double locks up as we head towards turn 3. Nice move there from the Mercedes driver. He's up into P2. This is Eric's chance to win the Austrian Grand Prix. But bear in mind, though, he does have a 3-second penalty, which means Leroy can have a chance of winning this Grand Prix. Leroy, in his first race here, didn't have a good race in the first race in the reversed, but here in the second race, looks like everything is puzzling together. Milan Langer had to serve a 10-second penalty. So both McLarens, who look like one of the favourites to win this Grand Prix, unfortunately chose the wrong strategy, and as Murray Walker would say, be on the right tyre at the right time. But unfortunately they weren't. Sorry about that, but it's the pause menu by accident. Oh no, Leroy spun the car, can he save it? He saves the car, but he made contact with Power Seam, who headed towards the pit lane there. That is such a tight, dodgy pit lane. Can Eric streak away? Has the gap built over 3 seconds now? It has it? Yeah, 5.3. So Leroy there has been caught out by the pit lane entry. Power Steam, I don't think he did anything wrong, although he paused the menu for a split second there. But however, Leroy is still going to be the podium. Khatikas is not pitting. I think he's taking his time towards the end of the Grand Prix. But regardless, he will not win it. Even though Eric has a 3-second penalty because of the mini compound tyres. The track is getting drier and drier. The track is getting faster. And what a change in this Grand Prix. The race has really galvanised. The rain has really galvanised this race. It's really spiced things up. Really changed its heads. We didn't expect the people to be where they are right now, as Fireblaze now has the fastest for the Grand Prix, but Eric surely has this move lined up. There is no need to do any erratic movement for Eric. He needs to just overtake him simply with the DRS. There's no need for dive bombs, no need for audacious lunge. It's got to be a clean move, which it is. Final corner, medias versus inters, and gets past him easily. Wow. So Eric had connection issues, but as Milan Langer gets a 3-second penalty as Eric goes off the track in Walls Turn 1. But his strategy to go on the mini-compound tyres has absolutely paid off. And plus, Kevin Zumberg is up into 7th place ahead of his championship rival. This has been a bad day for Milan Langer. Drove a brilliant race in the first race, in the reverse one. But in the normal format, it was going his way. But unfortunately for him, didn't anticipate when they were able to stop. You got to be on your toes at all times, like Hulkenberg did. Hulkenberg ignored the strategy and pitted at the right time as well. It is so difficult to anticipate what's going to happen in the moment. You don't know about the weather forecast. You've got to rely on your engineer, but sometimes your engineer can be deceiving and misleading too. You've got to rely on your natural instincts. You've got to pay attention to the weather at all times. And this is what happens as well. You could lead the Grand Prix comfortably, but the wrong strategy call will push you all the way back to the field. Can Khatikas stay on the podium? If he can, the gap's about 5-6 seconds towards Misha, who does have a penalty himself. The penalty is 3 seconds there, so it might be a bit of a tall order for Khatikas there. How much can Leroy gain on Khatikas? I think Leroy will get him, but it's all about Misha. Can Misha get Khatikas? And if he does get him, he needs to build up a 3-second gap as well, as Milan Langer has set the fastest for the Grand Prix. This has been an intriguing race. This has been a fantastic race, full of twists and turns, different strategies as well. A lot of people have had their own misfortunes. You create your own luck, and certainly Eric did that as well. Heading towards Remus corner now and lands right behind Power Seam with the DRS wide open. There's 4 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. He must be absolutely devastated, but you've got to be absolutely spot on with the strategy. Whether they can make or break people's races in terms of strategies, and it's definitely broken Milan's race here as well by choosing the intermediate tyres. He pitted as well, and he had a 10-second penalty for good measure, so that put him at a huge disadvantage by dropping him further down the order. His teammate, however, could still be in the podium. However, Leroy's catching it rare knots, but Misha is not really catching, is he, in P4? Surely this is dry tyres now. Although Misha is on old hardcore power tyres, which might explain it, and Kevin Zumberg is catching him as well. I think Khatikas just needs to let Leroy go. The inevitable is coming for Leroy. Let him go. Don't fight too hard because you don't want to influence Kevin and Misha to come closer. So when Leroy gets closer, don't defend from him because he'll lose a lot of time against Misha and Kevin Zumberg, because inevitably it's going to happen. It's been a fantastic race so far. These 2 races has absolutely flown by, and I've had the pleasure to commentate and talk about it as well. It's been an intense race so far, nerve-wracking, especially in the last few laps as well. You can see the difference in speed between the McLaren and the Williams there. Leroy does not need to take any risk. He's up into P3. However, Misha is losing a lot of time. Kevin Zumberg was right behind Misha, but something's happened to him. He's dropped way further behind. And we know that Khatikas is on inters. Kevin Zumberg could be in the podium, but unfortunately, he keeps making mistakes as well. Giving more leeway towards Khatikas in P3. Khatikas got the DRS at the back of Leroy. His pace on the inters is still good. This pace is still manageable as well. He's got the DRS at the back of Leroy, but I expect Leroy to break away on this lap because he's on the better medium compound tyres. Khatikas, massive wheel spin out of turn 3 as Sasha Khur gets past Matthias. He puts himself into P6. Here's a battle for P60 between the Red Bull, the RB, the Kicksauber and the McLaren in the background. Here we go, out of turn 3 we go. Sasha Khur under massive pressure defending against the forward, but here comes Power Seam, switches to the left hand side. DRS enabled. Here comes the Kicksauber champ as he goes down the inside in towards turn 4. Let's see if the Sauber can make it. Hits the back of the Ferrari, but he does. He gets ahead as the RB puts the wheel on the gravel. Matthias has been shuffled into P10. He's on the intermediates, explains why he's struggling there. But it's all down to Khatikas in P3. There is 2 laps left to go after this one. The gap is 5 seconds. Plus, Khatikas does not have a 3-second penalty. I thought double disaster will be heading McLaren's way. It still could, you know. There is 2 laps left to go in the Grand Prix. I thought both McLarens would pit and therefore be shuffled down the order. But the gap is 4.3. But Kevin Sundberg is charging through. He's right to the back of the Red Bull driver. Now he overtakes him, puts himself into P4. Bit of contact between us two. But Kevin's finally been released. He's up into P4 after a difficult race in the early stage of the Grand Prix. Now, can he catch hard gas? And when he does, overtake him, plus pull out a 3-second gap. That's the advantage Hardicas has, knowing that Kevin has got a 3-second penalty. However, Milan gets ahead of Champ, puts himself into P7. It could be still a good day for McLaren in P3, although they could have wanted more. A 1-2 was on the cards, but the wrong strategy call unfortunately led to their misfortunes and downfall. Look at Eric, those two, Leroy and Eric, a great, bold decision to go on the medium compound tyres. Fantastic for both of them as well. To make that call, go on the medium compound tyres. Let me check the race director again because something wasn't right there. Yeah, it's right, it doesn't matter. Kevin Sundberg as well on the medium tyres. It looks like this race was all about being patient on those inters, waiting for the dry period because people put it way too early in the Grand Prix to go onto the dry compound tyres, the hard compound tyres, and it led to the disadvantage as well in the race. But Hardicas, Kevin Sundberg is right behind the game, 4 seconds of him in 1 lap. He's under massive pressure. There is absolutely nothing that Hardicas can do about it. Who is going to be the podium? Kevin has got a 6-second time penalty, so I don't think Kevin's going to do it, you know, as we head down towards turn 4. Will Hardicas go a bit wide? Will Kevin get a better exit than the McLaren driver? He does, as Kevin goes past the McLaren. But I don't think he can build a 6-second gap in 2 sectors' time. So I think Hardicas might be safe against the Aston Martin there. But here comes Eric. Eric towards the final corner. After disconnecting, it's going to cost the line to win his first race of the season. What a fantastic drive. Great strategy call from AMS Eric as Leroy on his debut will finish in P2. What a fantastic race for him as well. The right strategy call promotes him up to P2. And here comes the McLaren driver, Hardicas. Hardicas is on the podium. He has survived all the way to the end on the intermediates. What a drive from the McLaren driver as well to hold on there. Could have got a win, but he held on to the intermediate tyres. What a shame for Milan Langer as well to go on the wrong strategy, plus get a 10-second penalty as well to add to his woes. And Kevin Sundberg did finish ahead of Milan, so the championship gets closer and closer between Milan and Kevin Sundberg as well. It's getting super close between those two. Milan will be thinking back as well about the strategy call, which has cost him dearly in this race. But it's been a fantastic race as well. What a fantastic race has been at the Austrian Grand Prix. Never fails to deliver, does Austria. Always spices up a good race. It's an unforgiving, brutal track. It may be 10 corners, but it's absolutely brutal and punishing if you make one mistake, plus the weather too. But there's the Dutchman of Eric, who is showing his capability as well. He won in the first race, and he wins in the second race. What a fantastic drive for him. There he is then. Confirmation with a 3-second penalty. Leroy, what a fantastic drive for him as well in P2. Got caught up in the first race, but here in the second race did amazing. Hardicas gets a second podium in a row as well, so he can be happy about that one. Misha, who tends to get top 5 finishes quite a lot, just can't seem to find himself on the podium as well this season. Ever since he got demoted off the podium in Australia, the first race of the season. But it's been a great, great drive from Eric. Disconnected, but still made it back to finish in first place. I'm so glad he made it back. If it wasn't for me, he would have won this race. I'm joking. I'm joking. But yeah, what a race it's been. And I'm glad to commentate for JSR. It's been a very good race. Entertaining as well. Action-packed, thrilling. Loads of strategy calls. Different strategies implemented in towards this race. So yeah, it's been a very good one indeed. Mummy Nick did get the fast lap of the race as well for good measure in P12, sorry. So well done to him to get that fastest lap of the race. So let's have a look to see. It's going to be the Italian Grand Prix. No, it's not. It's the Monaco Grand Prix, sorry. It's the Monaco Grand Prix. So I cannot wait for that. It's going to be one of the best races of the season. So I can't wait for him. Anyways, it's been a fantastic race, and I've really, really enjoyed what I've seen so far today. Race of attrition, race of strategy, different strategies throughout the whole field, and in the end, there's the people who went on the mini compound tyres in the second stint who prevailed and capitalised. Today was all about being on the right strategy at the right time, about surviving as well in the race, choosing your moments, and that's why Eric is at the top of the field despite disconnecting. I might do something different here, so just bear with me for a few seconds if I get the permission from somebody to do it. Well, I'll see you all in the next race because Eric does not want to do a podium interview, which is fair enough. I've tried to introduce it into this league, but he doesn't seem to want to do it. So I'll see you all for the next race at the Monaco Grand Prix. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate with you guys, and we'll see you all in Monaco. Take care. Goodbye for now.